The Dodgers bowed out in dramatic fashion last night. Jorge Castillo was there, the Dodgers beat writer for the LA Times, kind enough to work late night and get up early for us. Thank you, Jorge. How confident were you that the Dodgers were going to close this out when Dave Roberts went to Clayton Kershaw?
I'd say pretty confident, but obviously everyone knows Clayton Kershaw's history, and it's not a pretty one in the postseason. So when he gets out of me in there on 3 pitches, you're thinking, okay, the Dodgers, this might be the Dodgers' night. And then he comes back out there to face an MVP candidate in Anthony Rendon, and 2 pitches later, it's a 1-1 game, and a pitch later, it's a tie game. So it happened so quickly that it's pretty stunning just how it happened, just how quickly it happened, and then obviously you go into the 10th inning, and Joe Kelly gives up the grand slam. Just the way it happened last night, it was stunning. Just a team that won 106 games to lose that way, it was just a shock to pretty much everyone there.
We knew that the bullpen was vulnerable. And I know that we're a results-based sports society here, Jorge, but, the Nationals had to dance around their bullpen as well and try to close out games here. But, why are the Dodgers not playing anymore?
It's funny because the entire series, the strategy everyone talked about was the Dodgers win this series by milking, waiting out the national starters and getting to the bullpen. And last night, the opposite happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was last night. What happened was it just seemed like Dave Roberts didn't trust some guys down there. He seemed like he made a couple of wrong decisions. I know, as you said, where it's all hindsight's 20/20. We can blame the manager, and I'm not one to sort of go into all that. But some of the decisions last night, a couple of them, in the moment, you kind of just wondering what's this thinking here? What's the sort of the thought process going on? And keeping Clayton Kershaw in there to face Rendon and Soto and. Kershaw has a great history, obviously one of the greatest pitchers maybe the greatest pitcher of his generation, a future Hall of Famer, but he's had trouble giving up home runs this season. He's not the same pitcher. He's proven it the entire year. And then you're facing Anthony Rendon and Juan Soto, by far the 2 best hitters in that lineup. That was sort of a tough stretch there. And then going with Joe Kelly, for a second inning after he had not gone more than 1 inning since August. He's been erratic all season long. You got Juan Soto. You intentionally walk Juan Soto with first base open, with Adam Kolarek, who had got him out 3 times in the series, waiting in the bullpen. It's just all kind of, head scratching.
Yeah, that move there, that last one you talked about, that was the one that I thought we were going to see. Were they really chanting "Fire Dave Roberts" at Chavez Ravine last night?
I didn't hear "Fire Dave Roberts." I heard a lot of boos when he came out to take the ball from Joe Kelly. And then when he walked back after he gave the ball to Kenley Jansen, I specifically didn't hear "Fire Dave Roberts." It's probably because I was sort of honed in on figuring out what I was going to write. But I heard a lot of boos, and it's the loudest I've ever heard boos for Dave Roberts. Bill Plaschke was sitting next to me, and he was saying he'd never heard Dave Roberts booed that loudly at Dodger Stadium. And the people were upset. They weren't happy with the decision making that Dave Roberts made last night.
Is he safe? How safe is he?
My initial reaction to that would be, I think he's safe. He just signed a 3-year, so his contract was picked up, and option was picked up last year, and then his 3 years remaining after this. They signed an extension through 2022. So my gut instinct is that, yes, he's safe. It was ugly last night, but they still won 106 games. It's a franchise record. It's tough to see a manager get fired after that.
Well, that's why I don't know. Were they bad moves or bad performances, or can we separate the two?
I think it's both. It's hard. I know it's a cop-out answer, but in the moment, I think people were just wondering, wait, is this the right move here? I think the Clayton Kershaw move, I think that's more defensible. You're going with the guy that said he was available. He's one of the greatest pitchers of his generation. You trust him in that spot. He had just had a meeting out with 3 pitches. It's a 3-1 game. But leaving Joe Kelly in there, I think, is the one that's really kind of head scratching. And in both cases, Joe Kelly didn't make the pitches he needed to make. Clayton Kershaw didn't make the pitches he needed to make. But there was history on both sides, very recent history that suggested that they weren't the right people for that situation.
Yeah, and I also said this morning, and I thought this in the moment. if you're going to complain, I know we know what the end result is, but let's say you didn't bring in Kershaw, and let's say you went to your other pitchers in the bullpen and you lost, then we would be critical of Dave Roberts by saying, you had Clayton Kershaw there. I mean, the Nationals used Scherzer. Why wouldn't you use Clayton Kershaw? So I think because we know how it ended, therefore it's easier to criticize. But I think we would have been critical of Dave if he didn't bring in Clayton Kershaw and they lost.
I think that's fair. And, it's a tough job, obviously. We're here to criticize every move, every result. And, if Dave Roberts, if Clayton Kershaw gets out of that inning giving up one run and the Dodgers somehow win that game, it's, we're not talking about this, obviously, but it's part of the job. It's part of the gig, especially in this market, a market that hasn't seen a World Series championship since 1988. They're thirsting for one. It's, the last two World Series, losing in the World Series. I got the feeling around here that it was just, all right, cool. Let us know when you're in the World Series and when you win it. We've seen you guys do this in the regular season. We've seen you guys go to the World Series before. We're not satisfied.
What do you think's worse, losing like this or losing in the World Series?
I think just given the reaction from the guys last night, from the players, I'd say losing this way. Guys were. Clayton Kershaw's eyes were red and puffy. Reg Hill choked up. Walker Buehler was wiping away tears. It was not that sort of reaction the last couple of years. It was a very emotional, sort of raw clubhouse in there. I think they're just stunned how it ended so quickly.
I'll leave you with this. Whose career would you want as of right now? Mike Trout or Clayton Kershaw?
Oof. I go with Mike Trout. I think Mike Trout, I think he's the best player in baseball. He has been for maybe 7 years at this point.
Yeah, but he has no postseason. He's got three at bats or something, or three games.
He's younger though. He has a chance to turn this around. He has more of a chance. Theoretically, he'll be playing a lot longer. He's a position player who, unless injuries sort of rack up here, he'll have a lot of more chances to do this and get to the World Series and win one. Whereas Clayton Kershaw, based on the last, sort of the trajectory of the last couple of years, yes, he was very effective this year. I think he's at a 3.03 ERA, but he's running out of chances. He's a pitcher. These guys don't last very long compared to the position player, and Mike Trout's been the best one in baseball for about 7 years now.
Yeah, but Kershaw's not that old.
Yes, I know. That's the thing, but he's throwing 88 to 90 miles an hour now. He's not the same pitcher he was. He just isn't.
Yeah, and then that's a big contract too. So is he now a third or fourth starter? Is he going to drop that far?
I think it's fair to say this year he was the Dodgers' number 3 starter.
Yeah.
Hyun-Jin Ryu had he started the All-Star game. He's an NL Cy Young award candidate, and then Walker Buehler started Game 1 and Game 5, which is pretty much all you need to know what the Dodgers think about him. So I think it's fair to say Clayton Kershaw was the number 3 starter for the Dodgers this year.
Jorge, thanks for getting up. We know it was a late night. We appreciate your time.
No problem. Thank you.
That's Jorge Castillo. He covers the Dodgers for the LA Times.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.